Once upon a time, British politics had its own ideas. Now, with reform in the lead, it just seems to be downloading Donald Trump patch updates from Florida.
This is the single most resilient and bravest person I have ever met in my life.
I'm so saddened to see what happened in Europe with the immigration of Europe. You've got to stop. Your immigration is going to destroy you. Fighting with an anchor about men playing in women's sports. Here we go again. And you know, when they talk about the climate, the whole thing is a hoax. The UK has one of the greatest fields anywhere in the world, and you don't use it.
Every line you just listened to there from Trump, you'll have heard from Reform. So in this video, we're going to try and compare and contrast Trump and MAGA versus Farage and Reform, whilst adding in some fact-checking that the journalist refused to do. Once again, he made out London to be like Gotham City, yet crime in the UK is at an all-time low. That's not to say there aren't problems in London, but it's that same ideology and talking points that have allowed Trump to send the military into major cities for no reason. And Farage, despite all evidence, has been saying the same thing.
Public, increasing numbers think Britain is lawless. They think knife crime is out of control, shoplifting is out of control, and they're right.
Except when you put evidence and statistics together, it shows it's the complete opposite. Crime has been going down since the early 1990s. This is what I call manufactured fear, where essentially someone in politics is attempting to scare you into voting for them. If you'd like to know more, I'll put a link in the description to my book, Manufactured Fear. And here's another coincidence. The one crime that has exploded in the UK is hate crime, but you will never ever hear Reform talk about that. And coincidentally, the US has the same problem, and Trump isn't talking about it either. Arguably the wildest, most unhinged part of the entire interview, and the reporter just sat there nodding like a dashboard dog, was climate change and North Sea oil.
Your country has the North Sea. It's one of the greatest energy fields in the world.
No, it's not. The North Sea is a declining old oil basin discovered in the 1960s. Norway's fields are bigger, Saudi Arabia's are bigger, hell, Texas is bigger. Does the reporter challenge this? Do they argue it? Do they point out it's false? Of course not. And this obsession with oil is also in the Reform Party. Look at Richard Tice saying drill baby drill. Look who else said that.
It's called Drill Baby Drill. They make it impossible for anybody to drill environmentally. They make it, and taxation-wise, they want almost 100% of the money that comes out. So you have these great oil companies that can't go there because...
So currently it's about 78%, which is also the same amount as Norway. And we're going to talk about that a bit more in a minute. But just listen to this nonsensical stuff that he spouts out. It's actually deranged. It makes no sense at all.
And, you know, then they say, well, it's been there a long time, it's used. You've got 1,000 years of life there. That's one of the most vibrant...
They being who, and it's been there a long time, it's used. What does that... There's no meaning in that. It's just gibberish. You've got 1,000 years of life there in the oil fields? It's vibrant? What is he talking about? And the person interviewing him is just nodding along as if it's absolutely normal what he's saying.
Look at Norway as an example. Norway is a very rich country. They have the North Sea too. They say you have the best part of it. Who knows? But Norway's immensely wealthy because of the North Sea, same North Sea as you have. Why don't they do something? Why don't they supply your country? You know, your energy costs are among the highest in the world. It's crazy.
The reason Norway's wealthy is because they took that tax money and reinvested it into public services, infrastructure, and a sovereign wealth fund. That is the complete opposite of what the UK did.
And it's also some of the best oil. You know, it's really, you know, you have good oil, medium oil, but you have some of the best oil. Some of it's so good you almost don't have to refine it. It's so good.
Again, it's not true what he just said. It's made up nonsense. The sulfur content in oil has been going up over the last few years because we're edging towards the end of the supply. What is he like? Who's telling him all this stuff? Because it sounds like he's talking to gnomes at the bottom of the garden and fairies. None of it makes any sense what he said. And of course the reporter went, yes, yes.
You have this huge asset sitting there and you're destroying your country with windmills all over the place. I mean, I fly over Scotland and I fly over parts of the UK in helicopter a lot, and I'm looking down and I see these gorgeous fields being destroyed by windmills.
He thinks this oil pump is better looking than these wind farms moving in the wind. He thinks that looks better than this. He thinks that this oil rig looks better than this offshore wind farm.
The most expensive energy you can get, it's intermittent because if it's not windy, you don't even get it.
Has anyone told him about batteries? And of course, Reform are saying the same thing.
Now, for over 20 years, I have been saying, and I've been warning, that the rush to wind energy, the belief that wind energy will solve all of our problems, I've said all the way through these 20 years that it's a very, very dangerous myth. And in doing so, we've despoiled many of the best upland areas in the United Kingdom. Since that time, we've built many of these vast monstrosities out at sea. Now, I wouldn't mind if they'd been built without massive taxpayer subsidy. And I perhaps wouldn't mind if they were a reliable source of energy. And you'll hear at times, you'll hear the chorus of delight. Yesterday, 27% of Britain's energy was provided by wind. Well, isn't that wonderful? But what you never hear from the wind lobby, what you never hear from our politicians, what is hardly ever debated in any form of mainstream media, is the fact that when the wind doesn't blow, they are completely and utterly useless.
And again, just ignoring the fact that battery technology exists. And then he gets on to climate change.
And you know, when they talk about the climate, the whole thing is a hoax.
Now, he claims that climate change is a complete hoax, but isn't it also funny how he's all about drill baby drill, and it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of fossil fuel companies and actors are supporting him. But when you look at the science, you can see that these increases in temperature are rapid compared to what they have been on the global average, based on thousands of years, not hundreds.
We all care about the environment, but the climate has changed for millions and millions of years. That's the reality, way before man-made CO2 emissions. And
so let's just be clear. Are you denying that climate change has changed exponentially quickly in relatively recent years because
the climate
of
has
man-made
always changed, and if we look at the IPCC...
So no, hang on, so answer my question.
Sorry.
The question is, are you saying that this is just a natural course of events and that man has nothing to do with it?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that, yes, we've had man-made CO2 emissions for about 200 years, and there's no question that's contributed towards it.
What Richard goes on to say is that achieving net zero doesn't mean to say we'll stop climate change or global warming. What he doesn't seem to understand is that it's man-made, and it's a very nuanced denial thing that he's got going on here. Trump will just come out and say it, Richard Tice will just imply it.
Even though there are so many topics we could talk about, we have to tackle the issue of the BBC.
Because, of course, they're not going to talk about the #1 trending topic in America right now, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein.
And this defamation case. Can I just ask you, how did you feel when you were first shown the footage or told about this edit, which the BBC say is unintentional to depict you in that way? But how do you feel about it?
Do they say it's unintentional? Well, then they're stupid to say that. You know, they wrote me a letter of apology, as you know.
How was it?
But then it's fine, but what is it?
Yeah.
It's fine. They wrote me a nice letter. We apologize. But when you say it's unintentional, I guess if it's unintentional, you don't apologize, right? You know, I made a beautiful statement, and they made it into a not beautiful statement.
You just had a GB News presenter say what I'm about to play you was a beautiful speech.
All of us here today do not want to see our election victory stolen by emboldened radical left Democrats, which is what they're doing, and stolen by the fake news media. That's what they've done and what they're doing. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. This egregious assault on our democracy, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
And finally ordering them to go and release that hate upon the US
Anyone
Capitol.
you want, but I think right here we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down.
During that speech, he said the word slaughtered once, killed 3 times, dead 5, destroyed 6, and the word fight or fighting 20 times. Now you've got the context of the speech, have a listen to how she responds to Trump telling her It was a beautiful speech.
You know, made a beautiful statement, and they made it into a not beautiful statement.
Now bear this in mind, we know what he was saying there was a complete conspiracy, and the only reason the crowd were there was because of that conspiracy. And that crowd was so angry with Trump and his lies that they stormed the Capitol building in order to do an attempted coup. And that GB News reporter has just endorsed that speech as peaceful and beautiful. And bear in mind what I just showed you in those clips, but all the other stuff in this video, here's Farage endorsing Trump as president.
In no doubt, on November the 5th, Donald Trump is going to win. And thank God for that.
And there it is, the mask fully off. If you ever wondered whether Reform and Farage are just the British branch office for Trump and MAGA, you don't need a think tank report or a 200-page manifesto. You just need that sentence. Because Reform isn't inspired by Trump, they are copying and pasting him. The conspiracies, the culture wars, the attacks on minorities, the rigged elections rhetoric, the war on the BBC, and now Farage openly campaigning for Trump on stage in Britain. So yes, this is the answer to the question, are Reform and Farage just Trumpism in a Union Jack? Yes, absolutely, blatantly, word for word. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you really like this video and you want to help me make more of these videos, please look to subscribe and become a member of the channel. Once again, thanks for listening, bye for now.